We're going to talk about our weather right now. We got Mike Masco heading over to the monitor right now to fill us in. We got a blizzard condition. This is serious stuff, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a storm. I will venture to say could be historic in some, maybe not in others, and that's really what it's going to come down to. The magic number, we talked about this earlier, John, was 18.1 for Central Park. If we get to 18 inches of snow, puts us in the top 10 in terms of snowiest and most impactful storms in New York City history. I think we're easily getting there, Long Island and Jersey Shore, and I'll explain why in 1 second. Live look as you look at 42nd and 2nd. Wet roadways, just a really crummy morning across the tri-state. 34 degrees, and that's the magic number. Once we start to get to 32 and below, that's when we'll start to see the snow, the wet snow at that, and we'll start to accumulate on ground surfaces. It's raining south of the city, pure rain, but ironically enough, where it's raining, this might be the area that gets 2 feet of snow before all said and done. Nothing on the island, just some wet flakes on the north shore around Sayville area. Sag Harbor's getting that as well. Garden State Parkway through Middletown Township also seeing the light drizzle. Nobody's at freezing. I mean, Bridgeport, I think that's a little suspect, but we're looking at 30s to the north and west, 37 in Asbury Park. So we have some time to dynamically cool the atmosphere. There's a lot of cold air aloft, and as the storm intensifies, it has to drag all that cold air down to the surface, and it will do so, but you got to hang tight. That's why this is the appetizer before the main event starts to cook as we head late this evening going into tonight. Here's the storm down to the south, very fractioned storm, splintered apart, but we're waiting for this upper level energy that's going to start to infuse itself, and that will create our coastal storm, our coastal bomb, as we move into the evening hours. I think the biggest impacts are going to be felt in Long Island and the Jersey Shore when you add in the wind, and that's Stacey Ann, who's going to talk more about that. And of course, what is bombogenesis?
Oh yes, that is the burning question. I get that so many times. All right, bombogenesis, you got that pressure drop. It happens quickly. Within 24 hours, you get at least about 24 millibar drop. I'm even seeing higher with the storm. I'm just letting you know from now. With that comes strong gusty winds. We could be talking about damaging winds close to hurricane force, a very strong tropical storm, in fact. And that is what we are expecting, heavy blowing snow along with that. And look at how massive this storm is. And look how tightly packed these isobars are. And I can't imagine schools being open tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I just got a call from my daughter's school. They're going remote. So I imagine there'll be a lot of that happening tomorrow. So make your plans. Hopefully you've already done your preparation. Blizzard warning in effect from 1 p.m. today till 6 p.m. tomorrow. We'll let you know if there are any changes. Again, whiteout conditions expected, blowing, drifting snow, which kind of can make totals kind of skewed a little bit, but either way, any way you slice it, we're expecting feet of snow. As far as the wind gusts are concerned, it'll start to pick up later on this afternoon as the storm ramps up and pushes and comes up the East Coast. And with that said, it'll settle right around that benchmark that we talked about, 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west, longitude, latitude, you know the drill, just to give you an idea. Now, the strongest winds are expected to kick up at around 7 p.m., lasting through tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. We could be talking about wind gusts in the 40s right at around the 1 a.m. hour for tomorrow morning. But look how much it goes up from here. 7:30, we're looking at gusts up to about 50 miles per hour West Hampton, and further ways west across where you see that little purple there. So even points west of there, Islip, 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts are expected. That's enough to bring down tree branches, tree limbs, power lines, uproot trees, and that happens throughout the afternoon hours into the evening hours because it doesn't look like the winds will let up. Winter storm warning for you guys highlighted in pink, Pike, Sullivan, Ulster, Dutchess County. So we're talking about up to about 20 inches or more if possible. It all depends on where these bands set up. Sometimes it's very difficult to tell with storms like this. This is one of those classic nor'easters because of where it sets up. We talked about the 40, 70 degree mark, that benchmark. Visibility will be hampered throughout the day. It does get worse, especially at night. So figure it's dark outside, and to exacerbate situations, visibility will be down a quarter of a mile or less. And that continues throughout the day because the snow will linger into tomorrow. So traveling will be nearly impossible. So you definitely want to stay ahead of it and stay indoors. Power outages, quite possible, especially eastern Long Island as well as New Jersey. Coastal flooding, that's also on the table with inundation up to about 2.5 foot possible. These are totals. We've tweaked them just to further explained to you that we could get at least 24 plus inches in some cases, fewer amounts north and west, but still you are not exempt no matter where you are within the tri-state region. It just depends on how much of an impact you'll get. Afternoon temperatures in the 30s, but we will drop below that freezing mark. So you know what that means, guys. Whatever's left, especially underneath where we're getting rain right now, is going to be a layer of ice underneath there. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We do have some more rain, snow chances later this week, which we'll get to, but we just want to focus on today and tomorrow.